But right now we begin with Frankie Thompson. Frankie?
Jamie, Governor Jay Inslee says Washington needs more medical personnel right now. The president's COVID-19 action plan says more clinical teams would be available. That's why Inslee is asking the Department of Defense to send some of the extra staff to our state. Governor Jay Inslee says hospitals in Washington are in a crisis. In this letter to the federal government's COVID-19 response coordinator, he says our hospitals are currently at or beyond capacity, and we need additional assistance at this time. Our hospitals were nearing capacity this summer before the Delta variant hit our state.
I never would have, in the second week of July, when we were sitting at around 235 hospitalized COVID patients in our state, have predicted that just 6 or 8 weeks later, we would have more, we'd be 50% above what our previous high peak was. That's how fast things can change.
Officials with the Washington State Hospital Association say there are currently 1,504 people hospitalized with COVID-19 and continue seeing record levels of hospital admissions.
We are certainly at capacity, and it is essentially clogging up the entire system. Basically, we are housing patients in the emergency room that normally would be admitted for inpatient status, and that then leads downstream to extremely long waits for emergency room care.
Reasons why the governor is asking the federal government for medical staff resources to help meet staffing needs in hospitals and in long-term care facilities. Hospital officials say healthcare providers statewide are burning out.
So hard for staff to constantly be taking care of patients over and over again who are incredibly ill. And it's seen as something that is preventable in most circumstances.
According to WSHA, more than 90% of patients hospitalized are not vaccinated. The influx is putting elective surgeries on hold.
Our surgeons are passionately advocating for these patients, and it's heart-wrenching for them to feel like they can't take care of them. Lots of spine surgeries where people are in constant pain. They're not sleeping, they're in agony, and we can fix that. We can provide comfort, and we're having to pause that.
The Washington State Hospital Association says there have been 30 COVID-related deaths in the last 24 hours. They say practically all of those patients were not vaccinated. Officials tell us they are encouraged, though, by the continued increase in the vaccination rate across the state. Back to you.